everyone, my name is Ilon Priwanti Marbon, and today I would like to share a personal story about a failure that taught me something very valuable in my life. In life, we often see failure as something negative. When we feel disappointed, embraced, and sometimes we even begin to doubt ourselves. But over time, I realized that failure can also be one of the greatest teachers in our lives. Sometimes, failure is the experience that pushes us to grow, work harder, and become stronger. Today, I want to share my personal journey about failing to enter university in 2020 and how that experience changed my perspective and motivated me to try again. The story is about my journey after failing SNBP and SNBT in 2028 and how that difficulty experience pushed me to work harder until I was finally accepted into university through SNBT in 2024. Through this experience, I learned important lessons about perseverance, patience, and believing in myself. After graduating from high school in 2028, I had a big dream of continuing my education at a public university. Like many other students in Indonesia, I tried to enter university through the national admission pathways. The first pathway I tried was SNBP, which selects students based on their academic achievement during high school. At the time, I felt hopeful. I believed that maybe my academic record would help me enter university through this pathway. However, when the results were announced, my name was not on the list. I did not pass SNBP. Even I felt disappointed and I still had another chance through SNBT, which is the national entrance test for public universities. I prepared myself and applied to several universities such as University of Jember, Institute of Technology Sumatra, University of North Sumatra, and Samratulangi University. I waited for the results with a lot of hope. But unfortunately, the result was still not what I expected. I failed again. I was not accepted at those universities. At the moment, I felt very disappointed. It was a difficult experience for me because many of my friends had already been accepted into universities, while I was still trying to figure out what to do next. For a while, I felt confused and discouraged. However, after taking some time to think about my situation, I realized something important. Failure did not mean that my journey was over. Instead of giving up, I decided to try again. The following year became a time of struggle and self-improvement for me. I began preparing myself again for the next opportunity. I studied more seriously, practiced more questions, and tried to improve my understanding of the test material. There were many moments when I felt tired and overwhelmed. Sometimes I wonder if all the effort would really make a difference. But I keep reminding myself of my dream. I told myself that this failure could either stop me or motivate me to become stronger. So, I just to keep going. Slowly, I began to feel more confident in my preparation. I learned to manage my time better, focus on my weakness, and stay disciplined in my studies. Even though the process was not easy, I continued to believe that hard work would eventually bring results. After a year preparation and effort, the time finally came for the SNBT 2024 exam. When the test day arrived, I tried my best to stay calm and focus on the questions. After the exam, I had to wait again for the results, just like the year before. Honestly, I felt nervous, but when the announcement day finally came, something amazing happened. My effort finally paid off. I was accepted into Universitas Negeri Padang through the SNBT pathway. At the moment, I felt extremely grateful and relieved. All the struggle, the depth, and the hard work suddenly felt worth it. The failure that once made me feel discouraged became the reason why I grew stronger and more determined. Looking back at this experience, I realized that failure taught me several important lessons. The first lesson is perseverance. Success does not always come quickly. Sometimes we have to face challenges. The first lesson is perseverance. Success does not always come quickly. Sometimes we have to face challenges and failures before achieving our goals. The second lesson is self-improvement. Failure encouraged me to evaluate my weakness and work harder to improve them. The third lesson is resilience. Life will not always go according to our plans, but what matters most is our ability to stand up again after falling. Failure is not the end of the journey, instead it can become a stepping stone toward growth and success. In conclusion, failing SNBT and SNBP in 2028 was a very difficult experience for me at that time. It felt discouraging and painful. But the failure became a turning point that motivated me to work harder and believe in myself. Because of that experience, I was finally able to achieve my goal and be accepted into Universitas Negeri Padang in 2024. This journey taught me that failure is not something to be ashamed of. Instead, it can be a powerful lesson that helps us to grow together and stronger and wiser. So if you ever experience failure in your life, remember that it might not be the end of your journey. Sometimes failure is simply the beginning of a better opportunity. Thank you for listening and see you.